Good morning, friends. Today we are going to see the next part of capital gain. We've seen what are the basic concepts like capital asset, transfer, transactions not regarded as transfer, then computation of capital gains format. So today let us go further into that. So first we'll think cost and nature of costs allowed as deduction for computing capital gains. Then cost of inflation index values. Then how to compute such indexation cost of acquisition and indexation of cost of improvement, and the in detail concept of full value of consideration. So let's see all these concepts today. What is going to be the nature of cost when the asset is either short term or long term capital asset? So in case of cost of acquisition or improvement, if the item of cost has to be classified, it is in short term and in long term. When it is short term, it is cost of acquisition or cost of improvement, and when it is long term, it is classified as indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. So the only minor change is this indexation. In case of long term, it is this indexed cost of acquisition, and again in case of improvement, it is indexed cost of improvement, which is not there in short term capital asset case. So it's very clear that when we are dealing with the long term assets and we are transferring them, we will receive some capital gain which has to be computed with the help of these indexed cost. Further, going to see what are this indexation and how it is computed. So let's focus on inflation index values. It is also called as a abbreviation of it is CII, cost of inflation index values. So CII, cost of inflation index. So earlier it was some other base. Now we are already in the 21st century. So 2001 and 2 is being considered as the base year, which is considered as 100. It is base year, and eventually on the basis of the inflation, these further values comes into existence. So when it is base year, the value is 100 rupees. Then in next year 2002 and 3 it was 105, 3 4 it was 109, 4 5 it was 113, 5 6 it was 117. It means it's gradually increasing on basis of the actual inflation that has occurred in the economy. So on the basis of this inflation indexes, we can compute. Now let's see how we are going to compute. Say for example, I have purchased an asset in the year 2001 and 2, and today in the year 2019 and 20 I am selling of this asset. So these are the previous year. Financial years means the previous year for which I am computing the capital gain. So in the financial year 1920, if I am selling of any particular asset, then how indexation will happen? Cost of assets into 280 divided by 100. So this is how I am going to compute the indexation. Further we are going to see the formula, but just for your information I told you right now. So these are the cost of inflation index. It's better that we learn at least the current inflation index, so that becomes easy for us every time referring into some books or some tables on the Google makes it time consuming. So at least we can remember few important years like the recent years inflation index values. Further, it can be computed on various methods like actual computation or the tentative values or the indexation givens. So various methods are there. Let us now we are going to see indexed cost of acquisition. The formula for computing indexed cost of acquisition is indexed value of transfer year. So we have to take the indexation value in the year when such asset was transferred, and we are going to divide it by index value of acquisition year. So it will be that year in which such acquisition of asset was done, and then this proportion will be multiplied to the actual cost of acquisition of the asset, and then we get the resultant value as indexed cost of acquisition. This value will be useful in computing the capital gain when the capital asset is having long-term nature. Accordingly, after this we'll see indexed cost of improvement. Cost of improvement, how it is going to happen? Index value of transfer year and index value of improvement year. Just this value or the denominator is changed because now I don't have acquisition cost, now I have improvement cost. So in whatever year I have improved, I will be dividing it by a improvement year, and the multiplication will be done to the cost of improvement and not the cost of asset. So both formulas are very easy. We'll multiply it with the index value of the year in which we are actually transferring, and we'll divide by the index value of that particular year where we have actually acquired the asset or improved our asset, and we'll multiply it with the respective values. If it is a cost of acquisition, then multiplied by cost of acquisition. If it is a cost of improvement, then multiplied by the cost of improvement, and whatever resultant value we get is called as an indexed cost. May it be acquisition cost, may it be improvement cost. Next, cost of transfer. Now what exactly this cost of transfer is? As in earlier lectures also we have seen. Let's see today in detail. Say I was about to sell my asset, but I was not finding out the customer, so I appointed an agent. To such agent I was supposed to give commission, brokerage or any such remuneration which was in exchange to the efforts taken by such person. So what I will be doing? I'll be paying something that will be amounting to cost of transfer. Along with this, I need to pay some expenses for registration as well. Say I have sold off my vehicle. Say I have sold off my fixed assets like building or my residential house or land or anything like, which involves the stamp valuation and registration. Now whenever such registration has to be transferred from one person to another, then this registration needs there is an incurring of cost on these registration charges. So these all expenses occur only because I am transferring the asset. Otherwise they might not have been occurred also. So all such expenses are cost of transfer, and they shall be deducted from my cost of my value that I am receiving. So from full value of consideration, we have already seen the formula. So from full value of consideration, I am going to deduct cost of acquisition or the index cost of acquisition. Then I will deduct cost of indexation, cost of improvement or indexed cost of improvement, and the last item that I am going to deduct is cost of transfer. So such deductions will amount to the net value of whatever income we have received, and such net value will be our capital gain value on which we are going to get taxable. That will be a taxable value of income under head capital gain. So let's revise what we have seen. Full value of consideration, cost of acquisition, cost of improvement and expenses on transfer. Just to make you remember, let's see some example. An asset was purchased in 2002 for the 10,000 rupees and now it is sold for 2,000 in 2014, and the inflation indexed cost price, that is cost of acquisition, will be computed as, see, this is the 10,000 that I had. Now indexed cost of inflation, that is for 2014, is 240, and when I purchased in 2002 it is 205. So what I will do, cost of acquisition, that is rupees 10,000, will be multiplied by transfer year index value and divided by index value of year of purchase. And whatever resultant amount we get is termed as an indexed cost of acquisition. Similarly, you can also compute the indexed cost of improvement. Then in that case, as per formula, let us revise what will come. Here it will be cost of improvement. Here it will be index value of year of improvement. No, denominator will be the index value of year of improvement. And what will become here? It will be the same value because we are transferring it in the same year. That is, the year of transfer remains the same in both the cases, whether it is cost of acquisition or cost of improvement. The only things are changing is this cost, because this is now my acquisition cost. In that case it will be cost of indexation. And now here, this is my year of 2000. Instead of 105, it will be my year of improvement. Say I have improved it in 2005, then I'll be dividing it by the indexed value of 2005. So accordingly, I'll be computing indexed cost of improvement as well. Thus, the process of computation is very easy. In case of capital gain, what things we are going to improve or what things we are going to involve here? First is cost of acquisition, that is, it is purchase price of asset purchased. Then second will be cost of improvement, that is, it is the money spent on the major repairs and modifications. And the third one is expenses on transfer, which includes brokerage, commissions, etc., etc., like registration, many things comes into it. Also, one more point to remember is cost of improvement is something which is, let's say I have purchased a building which was of 4 stories when I purchased it. Now I have built up an additional 2 stories onto it. When I acquired, it was 4-storied building. Now after improvement, it is 6-storied building. So that additional cost of 2 stories was my capital modification. It improved my value of asset. It improved my, maybe additional value came into existence. So my life of the asset also was changed. So it is termed as an capital expenditure. And now, because I am selling off that asset and that improvement was done to my existing asset, it is termed as a cost of improvement. So cost of acquisition and cost of improvement both are very much important from capital gain point of view, and such capital gain shall be computed only after considering both these, that is cost of acquisition as well as cost of improvement. These expenses on transfer are also playing an important role, because until and unless we are transferring the asset, we are not going to incur such expenses. So they also need to be deducted. So it's very easy to remember and follow the steps. So the first step is cost of acquisition, second step is cost of improvement, and the next step is expense that we are going to incur on the event of transfer. Why indexation has to be done is an important part for the day. Indexation is very important because if indexation is not done, we cannot compare our full value of consideration and the cost of asset. And if the values are not comparable, how can I sell? I'll just give you example. I am selling off my asset and it was purchased very long back. Now when I am selling off my asset, cost should also be considered to compute the profit or gain on such asset transfer or sale of such asset transfer. Now when I am deducting cost, that cost should be of today's consideration. That cost shall not be the cost which was incurred in the past whenever I have purchased. Now how to compute the cost as per today's inflation rates is helped with the concept of indexation. Indexation simply tells us how to convert our cost from the past inflation values to the current inflation values. Along with that, it helps us in reducing the price. Which price? The taxable price of the profit or gain that we have incurred. Say I have profit of 10 lakhs rupees, but after indexation of cost of my asset and improvement cost of the asset, what I did was my value of or the full value of consideration got reduced to say 4 lakhs rupees because indexation effect gave me that additional benefit. So it is going to reduce my liability because my purchase price is going to get added into it, like additional purchase price will be deducted from my sale consideration. Then it is an effective way of preventing draining of returns of income, because see, if I am not deducting this indexed cost, I will be having a higher value of capital gain. On such higher value of capital gain, I will be paying higher value of income tax. So just to avoid that, because it's simply draining, it's not that I am suppressing my income. I am not suppressing my income. What I am doing is I am actually deducting the true value or the fair value from the sale consideration of my capital asset. So it's going to give me the exact liability of my income tax. Further, it's going to make me compute such values only in case of long-term assets. I cannot compute indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement in case of short-term capital assets or in case of short-term assets. I compute it in case of only long-term assets. So the inflation effect is included only in case of long-term capital assets and long-term capital gains only. I cannot do it in my regular or the short-term capital assets. So this is what we have to see or we have to remember in regards to the indexation. Again, to revise, what is full value of consideration? It is my sale price. Then I deduct cost of acquisition from it in case of short-term capital asset. I deduct indexed cost of acquisition in case of long-term capital asset. After that, I deduct cost of indexation of improvement when it is a long-term capital asset, but I just deduct cost of improvement when it is a short-term capital asset, and in both the cases I deduct cost of transfer or expenses on transfer. An important point to be noted, expenses that are incurred on transfer cannot be indexed because they are incurred in the year itself when the transfer takes place. So no indexation benefit can be availed in the case of cost of transfer. So expenses of transfer need not be indexed in any case. As it is in short term capital asset, we never index any cost. But in case of long-term capital asset also, we need not index the cost of transfer. It has to be the actual cost only. So these are the expenses, and this is the importance and the relevance of the indexation in the cost of acquisition of asset and cost of improvement of asset. So that's it for the time. Queries and doubts, you can reach me anytime. Thank you.